Reviews, the biggest news, the what's new, and the who's who. Welcome to the Daily Gamer podcast with Joe Mango and James.
Welcome to the Daily Gamer podcast number 27. Now, James unfortunately isn't here this week. He's gone campervanning in Germany for some reason. But don't worry, we have got two amazing guests filling in. We got Viz and Sadik. Welcome, guys.
Hey, bro.
Hello there.
Thank you so much for filling in.
Of course.
Happy to be here.
It's amazing. We have loads of stuff on the show. We are going to be doing the new gaming releases. I've got my top 5. We've also got some gaming news. And Sadik is going to tell us all about Spider-Man 2. Is it worth the hype?
It's complicated.
Oh, okay. And Viz, what have you planned for us today?
I'll be talking about rice.
About rice. All of that to come on the Daily Gamer podcast today. Right, it's time to talk about Spider-Man 2. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get my hands on a PS5 yet. Because, number one, someone told me the PS5 Pro is probably coming out next year. So I was like, oh, do I bother? And then the PS5 Slim came out, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just get that. But there's no performance upgrades. So then I was like, oh. Anyway, long story short, we're talking about Spider-Man 2.
You're missing out, by the way.
I played just really quickly before you get into your Spider-Man 2. During kind of COVID had kind of been a year and a half or something, and it was the first time I managed to get to the UK for Christmas. Right, I got COVID positive on the 24th of December. All right, this is a couple of years ago now, and luckily my brother had come down from where he lives to my mom's house, and he bought his PS5, and he had Spider-Man, the first one. And I remember just literally 100%ing that game in 5 days or 4 days. I actually might have been more 3 days that I actually 100%ed it. But and I really enjoyed it. So I am looking forward to Spider-Man 2. But Sadik, why don't you've completed it already? Platinum. So for the uninitiated, what do you mean by completed it in Platinum?
So completing it in Platinum is the PS trophy system. So that means when you get the Platinum trophy, that means you've done every possible thing that you can do with this game. Completed all the missions, got all the collectibles, completed the story, challenges, if any, you got it.
Wow.
So that happened, and I pretty much did that in a week.
No.
Oh my God. You had the time, bro.
Yeah. It's been a slow week at work. So.
Yeah. You were playing whilst you were at work, is that what you're saying?
I wish. So it's an amazing game, don't get me wrong. And let's keep it spoiler-free. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I don't think we need to go into the nitty-gritty of every single mission or anything like that. But I mean, there's definitely things that there's been gameplay trailers and stuff that we can talk about that sort of stuff. Because to be honest with you, that's all I know of it. I mean, I've listened to a couple of other people talking about it, watched a couple of reviews, and I mean, it looks like a really cool game overall.
It's a solid game. Here's the thing: anything from PlayStation Studios, Insomniac, Naughty Dog, everyone. You know that it's a solid game. It's well polished. It's bug free. It's a great experience overall. And I'm sure you experienced that in the first game. It was perfect. It's a 10 out of 10. Is Spider-Man 2 10 out of 10? I'm going to have to say no on that.
Oh.
Maybe 8.5. And I'll tell you why. Because it is polished. It is great to play. But if you'll compare it to the first one, and that's why I said it's complicated, you get out of it what you expect or how you walk into it.
Yeah.
If you're expecting your mind to be blown like Spider-Man 1, that's not going to happen. Because for many reasons, really. Because what Insomniac did with Spider-Man 2 is that they made it more compact. It's a lot shorter than Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
If we're talking if you're going to go for the main story only, we're talking about 10 to 12 hours if you're going to speed through it. But that in of itself is not necessarily a bad thing, because one of my favorite critics, actually, Yadzi Croshaw, when he was reviewing Spider-Man 1, he said, it's a great game that has every other game ever created in it, because there were so many things. There was base building, the base clearing, there was collectibles, there was side missions, and Insomniac slimmed that down a lot.
Okay.
But in the process, you would feel that they left out a bit. Some of the characters were not as fleshed out as I would have liked.
Mm-mm.
So you have two main antagonists. It's not spoiler. You've seen the trailers.
Yeah. You got Miles Morales up in there as well.
Exactly. You have Kraven the Hunter, and you have Venom. And I have to say, the Venom part is probably the best representation of Venom that you'll see outside of the comics.
Nice.
It's mind-blowing. But then you come to Kraven, I felt that unless you do a lot of other side missions, you don't really understand why he's there and why he's doing what he's doing.
So you actually play as Kraven, is what you're saying? Sorry.
No.
No. Okay.
He's the main antagonist. He's the one you're fighting.
He's the bad guy. Okay.
But unless you really dig in there, you're not get the full picture of what's happening.
See, because when they did their first kind of big cinematic kind of trailer, he was at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, let's see where that goes. But yeah, to be honest, after that first initial trailer where you saw him in the forest, killing someone or whatever, I actually haven't heard of him again in anything Spider-Man 2 related. It's always been, there's Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Like, that's the main kind of thing that they've been kind of teasing and showing.
Exactly. And then Venom was announced, and then everyone was mind blown.
Yeah.
Venom is there for the first time in gaming for years.
Yeah.
And he's worth it. I'm telling you, the best representation of Venom in any media outside of comics.
Yeah.
But Kraven suffered for it.
Oh.
That's what I would say.
Okay. So, like, story-wise.
Story-wise.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I guess the main story of Spider-Man 2 is you and Miles are trying to defeat Kraven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. But you don't really know why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you have to, like, really dig for it.
Unless you go platinum and,
Where's
the purpose?
Yeah, pretty much. And the second story of it, which is something that I felt that Insomniac intended and did for a great degree, actually, is that this is more of a passing the torch moment from Peter Parker to Miles. And it's there, but not really. It exists. You can see hints of it, but you don't feel that at the end, which I'm not going to spoil, obviously, but at the end, you don't feel that this has taken place yet.
I get you.
The one thing that the game does brilliantly, though, and I'm sure this is intentional, is that they planted the seed for a Marvel gaming universe.
Oh.
Yeah. So sorry, I was gonna touch on that because I was thinking about. Obviously, I watched like last month the new Miles Morales movie, which I always forget which one it's called now because they sound similar.
Into the Spider?
Into the Spider-Verse. What was the first one then? Like it was
Across.
One of them is across and one of them isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's across then. The first one was into.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So yeah, I watched Across the Spider-Verse. By the way, one of the best movies I've ever watched.
Absolutely.
Ever. My wife, who usually is a bit like, I don't really want to watch that, she really liked it as well. So, that was good. Honestly, 10 out of 10, that movie. But then when I saw obviously Spider-Man 2 and it's got Miles Morales and Spider-Man, I thought, okay, well that kind of makes sense now because of the movie.
Yeah.
So I assume they've kind of planned all of that. And I've seen a lot of the, they leaked all the costumes before the release, actually. And a lot of them were from Across the Spider-Verse, different Spider-Men and stuff, which I thought was really cool. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how that develops. What do you think?
It's not just Spider Universe. I'm speaking the whole Marvel thing. There's a lot of Easter eggs in there that hint at other properties in Marvel. You'll have a Daredevil teaser that's already there.
I heard about Wolverine.
There's the Wolverine game that's coming from them that's probably going to be in the same universe as well.
They did say, like, they confirmed it a few days ago that it is the Wolverine game that's coming out is in the same universe. Yeah.
Yep. So
that's pretty cool.
You can clearly see that Insomniac and Sony are trying to build something here. It's not just about this game. There's bigger things there are bigger things at play.
Makes sense. I'm looking forward to everything Spider-Man. I think, when I was younger, for some reason, like Superman was like the big superhero, right? Because they had actually had like a couple of those big movies with, I can't remember the actor's name, but like a while ago. And I don't know if you've watched back those movies from like the 90s, those Superman
80s.
movies?
80s,
Even 80s?
The first one, yeah.
And oh my goodness, it is so bad. Like the fighting is so...
They haven't aged well.
Yeah, exactly. Not at all. Like he's doing his like breathing ice or whatever, and like it looks horrendous, right, when you look back to it. But yeah, I think nowadays Spider-Man has kind of become kind of one of the best superheroes out there, you know. Obviously with Marvel in general, like, you know, you got probably your Iron Man fans, you got your Thor fans, because they you know, amazing big characters that they put in like a ton of movies. But for gaming and movies together, I think Spider-Man just takes the cake now. Especially that I think the only really good superhero games before was kind of like Batman Arkham stuff. Especially for like single player stuff. And I think with what Insomniac have been doing with Spider-Man has been fantastic. Great for the genre of superhero games. And yeah, absolutely just smashing it. One thing that I thought, because again, I haven't played Spider-Man 2 yet. When I played Spider-Man 1 for like 5 days straight, it does get a little bit repetitive, right? You're like, oh, there's another robbery and I've got to go stop that. Oh, there's another building that I've got to go clear. Not that I don't enjoy going and doing it, but I did think, oh, well, if I just play Spider-Man 2, is it just going to be a lot of the same?
That's the thing. Part of that's why I said the game is not shorter. It's a lot more slimmed down. They let go of most of the faff that was in Spider-Man 1, if you think about it. It's a lot slimmer than before, but as one contained experience, it's a great game. If you liked Spider-Man 1, if you liked Miles Morales, you will definitely like this one. But don't walk into it expecting your mind to be blown like it did with Spider-Man 1.
I get you. Viz, did you get a chance to play it?
I rage quit Spider-Man 1.
Really? Because of that?
No, it was the
because
first.
Of the
No,
repetitiveness?
it was actually the first mission where you have to chase the rhino. It was during training.
Yeah, in the Miles Morales game.
Miles Morales.
Yeah, there was one mission wherein you have to go through the building and chase the rhino, and I failed like 20 times.
the training mission.
The training
I was like,
tutorial.
you know what? I'm just gonna stop playing this game. But I remember it's. I was thinking about God of War Ragnarok, fighting the Valkyries. I was like, it feels like that. Just doing that first mission, I'm like, I'm gonna quit. Never mind.
I mean, one thing I heard which was positive about it is the web swinging has never felt better, and you've obviously got the gliding as well, which helps you get around. A new way to kind of get around a bit. What do you think?
I have a controversial opinion about this.
Okay, again, I haven't played it. This is just hearsay from me. Yeah.
So the swinging is at its best. It's amazing. The gliders, I'm not a big fan of, and I'll tell you why. They work great. They feel great, but then they take away from the swinging. It's like, I don't want, and of course people say just don't use it.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you just not glide? Yeah.
Of course you can, but then you'll have an easier and faster way of getting to the next mission. So, you know what? And that's the thing, actually. At the beginning, I said, no, I tried it. I was like, no, that's too easy. I'm going to stick to the web swinging. But then towards the last third of the game, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to take the easy way out and glide through it, which took away from the swinging experience. At least that's what I felt.
I get you. I did actually watch a video of a guy who went from one end to the map to the other.
That's a trophy.
Is it?
Really?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You have to do it?
And he basically said, which is faster, web swinging or gliding? Yeah. And he timed both of them from one map to the other side of the map, which one was quicker. And at the start, the gliding is quicker, but by the end of it, the web swinging actually took over and won. So I don't know if that... So I guess when you're going from like one bit to the next bit, it's just easier to just glide.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I guess long distance gliding is... Because you run out of steam, I guess.
Yeah, but there are these wind tunnels thing that if you go through, you'll gain more speed, actually.
Ah, okay.
And that's one of the trophies. You have to go from the southmost point of the map to the northmost point using gliding only.
Without touching the floor?
Without touching the floor. Or web swinging. Or jumping.
What? And you did... How long did it take?
3 tries.
3 tries? But I mean, how many minutes to go from one end to the other?
It's easy because there is a specific path that if you go through that has a lot of wind tunnels, you can actually make it.
So they help you kind of... Yeah. That makes sense.
Imagine if I did that, quitting Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, that trophy is not for you.
Yeah, definitely not. All right, well, I mean, overall impressions, you said it's complicated, but I mean, you still would, not a 10, but what, 9?
8.5.
8.5, okay, very cool.
If you loved Spider-Man 1, you will love Spider-Man 2. Just don't walk in expecting mind-blowing experience. masterpiece.
So just lastly, I did hear that the game gets better as you go along. The last third of the game is amazing, but then apparently the last bit of the last third drops off a bit.
The last third of the game is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
This is the part where your mind would be blown. It has this one thing that you will do.
I really want you to tell me, but I don't want to spoil it. No, I get. Yeah. Okay. But do you think they did that deliberately? So everyone will go, the last third of the game's amazing, which means you've got to play it.
The lasting impression, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So if you're going to buy Spider-Man 2, don't rage quit.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Get to the last third of the game because it's a masterpiece. It's an 8.5 from us here on the Daily Gamer podcast for today. Not from me. So if you have contradicting opinions, do let us know on our socials. We're at Daily Gamer Official. And Sadik, thank you so much for a very, very well-rounded review for us today.
Of course.
Time for our gaming news now. Now, I got to be honest. We were just talking about this before we started on the podcast, and it seems like Sadik already knows everything gaming news out there. So, I mean, I might just give you the. We'll play a little game, okay? I'm gonna give you the title of the news article that I've got written down here, and then you tell me the story. All right? See if you know every single one. Okay. So, Konami unveils stunning gameplay for Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake at Xbox Partner Preview.
Yeah, so that's one that's close to my heart.
Okay, we go, yeah.
Metal Gear 3 is my favorite game of all time.
Nice.
Snake Eater. Like, I played this maybe 4 or 5 times, and I love it. And when I heard about the remake, I was like, oh my god, yes. And then I saw the video from the Xbox Partner Preview. It looks amazing, but here's the little thing that's niggling at me. Would I play, would even a Metal Gear Solid game be one without Kojima at the helm? Let's throw this back to your listeners. Would you play a Metal Gear Solid game without Kojima?
I mean, to be honest, I would, totally.
I would.
And you know why? Because I never actually played the originals.
Because he played Metal Gear 1.
Well, we just worked this out. The originals came out like early 2000s, you said. So I would have only been like 7 or something. So it's definitely not a game I should have been playing when I was 7.
Probably, yeah.
But you know what? Obviously, they are infamous games, and I've obviously know a lot about them just from being in the gaming industry or whatever. They are legendary games from a legendary man and a creator, whatever. But he's doing his own things now. He's got his own stuff happening, and that's fair enough. And I'm sure that these games are going to be basically the game that he already created, because it's just a remake, right? But polished and amazing. What do you think?
Metal Gear Survive. That was horrible. One of the worst games ever
that
made.
wasn't a remake, though, right? That was just a new game.
It was horrible.
But this is a remake of the game that was great.
But here's the thing: do you trust
but the
Konami to know what they're doing? Without the vision of the creator, would you trust them? I don't have an answer for that. That's the thing I'm struggling with.
I just like to be the opposing to you, just so we can have a little back and forth.
I noticed.
Yeah. But no, I get you. It's a very good point. We've actually got a gameplay trailer up on our website, daily-gamer.net. So go check it out, see what you think of the gameplay trailers released so far, and let us know what your thoughts are on it, because it'll be interesting to find out. All right, for game number 2, question number 2 for the game. Remedy unveils progress on Max Payne remakes and Control 2. Ooh. What do you think?
Look, Max Payne, it's a childhood game. Like, you can never go wrong with Max Payne, and Remedy have proven themselves very capable, and they know what they're doing. You can already see the reviews for Alan Wake 2. People are saying one of the best games, probably Game of the Year contender for this year.
Definitely.
So I would trust them. On the other hand, I would trust them with Max Payne remake. And Control, like, this is one that everyone has been waiting for. The first game, Control 1, was amazing. I loved it. Everyone loved it. So I'm waiting for this one.
Yeah. I think definitely Remedy have got, they are established now.
Yes.
They are there. They are contenders. Considering, you've got some gaming companies that you expect to see good things from, and you're kind of being let down recently, I feel. I don't know if that's because of, like, the effects of COVID and, trying to...
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, hey. Yes. They released, like, peak COVID, all right? Give them a little bit of a break. They wanted to give people a game that they could play. Yes, it was a little bit buggy, but I think it was blown out of proportion, personally.
Yeah.
Okay. I was playing it on PS4, which was the worst platform to play it on, and I still had a great time playing it from the get-go. I played it like the week it came out, and I was like, yeah, okay, there's some dude's head in a wall, like there shouldn't be there.
Someone with a T-pose in the middle of the street.
Yeah, exactly, and a car blew up, but the car kept driving, the guys kept shooting me, like, those sort of things happen, but, I wasn't that bothered because 90% of the game was working fine. There was just, I think, critics and trolls just love to make a big deal out of something. Yeah. And look, within you look at the game now and the hype that came over their expansion for CD Projekt Red. It's one of the best games out there right now. 100%. I think it's one of the best games out there right now.
They did turn it around. To be fair, I think it would have been easy to just give up on it, chalk it up to a loss, and move on to The Witcher or whatever. But they didn't.
Yeah,
respect for that.
They added the DLC that is got Idris Elba in it. It's really cool. It's an amazing game, personally. So don't come at CD Projekt Red again, okay? But I get what you're saying. But they had a lot of challenges, I think, when they released it, and yes, they did have a lot of crunch time, I think, and try to push it out when they probably needed to spend a bit more time. But they had pushed it back so many times that everyone was like, "Just get the game out," and then everyone complained when they did. So
developers were getting death threats to release the game.
Exactly. So in a way, it's actually
so hyped. That's why.
Yeah. I don't think it's the developers' fault.
Yeah.
I think it's the fans' fault for making them release it.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's not your fault, CD Projekt Red.
We love you.
Can I have some free games now? I did actually email them asking for a free game because I had it only on the PS4 and I asked for it on the PC. They said no.
Maybe in the PS5.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But anyway, so Max Payne, I played that as a kid, probably younger than I should have played it. But absolutely great game. We were talking before, it's got that like Matrix-esque, like slow-mo. And they're probably one of the first to do it well, that slow-mo shooting. And it was also kind of like Resident Evil, like where you had to conserve your ammo and, you couldn't just go run and gun and, you're good to go. You had to kind of be smart with how you were taking on every approach. Every time you walk through the door, you're thinking, okay, what am I going to see? And when you see it, you're like, oh, how am I going to do this? It wasn't just like, So, yeah, great. I'm actually really looking forward to that. And Remedy, great. Control 2 as well. Going to be really, really cool. So, yeah, looking forward to that. All right, final piece of news for you. Bungie faces layoffs in 2023. Destiny 2 DLC delays announced.
That's a bit of a sad one because Bungie is one of the good guys.
I do like Bungie.
They are known for having a great work environment. They have developed great game. At one point, I was addicted to Destiny. But the thing is, it's not just about the layoffs. They're not the only one doing the layoffs this year and this quarter, actually, which is a sad thing for the industry, but that's a whole other thing. But the way they did these layoffs, if you look at what Paul Tassi published, he's one of the biggest insiders in the industry. He had a few interviews with the people that got laid off, and he's saying that many of the employees who were fired, found out in the morning when they were locked out of their services. Others found out in meetings that they were told not to tell team members themselves, as teams would be told by other means. And even some managers were not told about who from their teams were leaving.
Wow.
And all of that is a pretty bad picture. I don't know what's happening at Bungie, because one of the reports that came out actually said that Destiny 2 underperformed financially by 45% less than expected.
I mean, look, it's a game that's been out for like years now, so you can't be like, oh, this is our breadwinner. But you know what I mean?
It is their breadwinner. It's a live service game, and it's the only game that they have. So for that, for their monetization and for their profits from the game to go down that badly, it's a bad sign. So, and the latest DLC has been pushed. The new game they're developing, Marathon, has been pushed to 2025.
Yeah.
So Bungie seems in trouble right now. It's interesting. And also, the reports are saying that these layoffs were not mandated by Sony by any means, who bought them for, I don't know, $3.2 billion. But these were Bungie themselves. And when you look also at the people that they laid off, Michael Salvatore, the mastermind behind the music of Destiny, which is one of its biggest wins, it's weird. Like, I would stay tuned to Bungie news to know what's happening, because right now it doesn't look really good.
Sad times. I mean, I do think, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got a game like Destiny 2, which, is popular and is still going and people are still playing it, but you got to be thinking, all right, what are we creating next? We got to get it out. We got to have something else to go along with it.
Exactly.
I mean, you look at Blizzard. I mean, they've got like
5 winning properties.
Exactly. So you need to have that. And the good thing is they bounce off each other, right? You'll be bored of WoW for a bit. You're like, let's go play some Diablo,
Yeah.
And then you can go on to, was it Hearthstone or whatever, So there's always other things that you can go and play.
Yeah.
So I think trying to just make money from Destiny with the DLCs, it gets a bit stale after a while. I love Destiny 1 and then Destiny 2, really enjoyed it. The reason I stopped playing it was because I couldn't find a party. There was missions that you had to do, but you had to have more than one person because it was too difficult to do by yourself. And you would, they had a thing that said, search for other players. And you'd be sitting there for...
It never worked.
Half an hour, and then eventually someone would, join
and then leave.
And then you're like, oh yeah, great. And then they just disconnect and then you're gone and you're like, So that for me was like a downside. I heard that they fixed that. Another friend of mine who does still play Destiny, he was like, I never use that. I just go on like Reddit. I'm in like a group and I just go, who's playing? Exactly. And he said, that's kind of just how I do it. And I'm like, yeah, but it shouldn't be like that, to be honest. It should just be, it should be in game, World of Warcraft, I mean, it's obviously a different beast. But it's so easy to just go, hey, should we go do this? Yeah, it's cool. Let's go. I mean, you might get some really bad people, but still, at least you have some friends with you.
Same thing with Monster Hunter. The same thing happened.
Yeah. So anyway, sad times for Bungie. But let's see. I do, I love what they're creating, and hopefully they come back from the downsizing and bring out some new games. And in a couple of years, we'll be like, Bungie, they're amazing again. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that is your gaming news of the week.
Woohoo!
It's time for the top 5 games, and this week I'm doing top 5 games that came out in October. Now, I usually don't do, every month games that have come out, but to be honest, the end of this year it's getting pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the top 5 games for October have been pretty great. I'm starting with one that you might not have heard of as much, but I did watch some gameplay of it and saw, and I thought, actually, this is quite a cool game. It's called Ghost Runner 2, out on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. It's like an action platformer. It got a 80 on Metacritic. Only came out a few days ago, October 26th. So like 5 days ago now. But I don't know. Did you guys have a look at this one at all?
I played the demo a bit. It's like parkour on steroids. It's insane.
Yeah.
Imagine doing all this jumping and running in first person. It's amazing.
But it's not like parkour. It's like if you were in space and doing parkour.
Complicated parkour on steroids?
Like, it's pretty crazy.
It is.
Like
but you're also doing
Skyrim.
You're also doing a lot of combat and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And like I saw some like boss fights and stuff, and it looks pretty crazy. So if you're young and energetic and can handle that sort of stuff, then
absolutely. If you have motion sickness, don't go for it.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. But yeah, it looks pretty cool, so go check it out. Ghost Runner 2. By the way, I've done this in order, so you don't have to agree with the order. It's just something that I came up with. To be honest, it's kind of based off the Metacritic score in a way. Number 4, though, Assassin's Creed Mirage. It got a 77 on Metacritic, but I really liked it. and I think it did what it said on the tin, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be a new Valhalla or something, another massive RPG open world thing that you can go and explore that everything can, whatever. It was supposed to just give you a little taste of what Assassin's Creed was from the start.
Yeah.
And I think it did that in a really nice way. Out on PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox, and Xbox Series X and Xbox One as well. What do you think?
I think it fell victim to expectations, probably, because
it's Assassin's Creed.
And back to the old Assassin's Creed, probably people expected something like 2 or Brotherhood or Revelations, something of that scope, and it really was not meant to be that. Actually, it started as a DLC for Valhalla, and they just expanded to a full game. So probably that's why the below 80 score.
Because they're also working on like 3 other Assassin's Creed titles right now. So this is probably just like we'll just give it to the other team to just work on, and we'll make some money from it, right? Because people are going to buy Assassin's Creed games no matter what.
Yep, I will still play it.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a cheaper game. It's like $50 instead of like $70 or whatever. So, you're getting what you pay for, I think. I think $50, great. You get a good 20, 30, 40 hours out of it, and you'll be happy. Good to go. So, yeah, I think 77, I get it. But I'll still play it and still enjoy it, I'm sure. At number 3, now, this could have probably gone higher, to be honest. But Alan Wake 2, very excited. It's only just come out. Essentially, you're kind of like an FBI agent's...
It's a unique game, I say. Like it's unlike any. I still haven't played it, to be honest. But from what I've read, everyone's saying it's unlike anything you've played before. It's hard to pin it down to a genre.
It's a bit scary though.
It is.
I gotta be honest. I'm not usually one for horror, but the actual game itself looks pretty incredible.
It does,
and it does make me go, "Oh, shall I kind of just try and not think about the horror?" And I'll be okay.
Or play with friends.
Play with friends. Can you come to my house? I really appreciate that. But yeah, it got an 89 on Metacritic. I think it's kind of superseding the expectation, whereas Assassin's Creed may have gone the other way.
Yeah.
This one has really gone, oh, wow, this is actually really good. They've done a fantastic job on this game. Remedy, which we were talking about earlier, so... Yeah, fantastic. Well done to those guys. Out now, it was out on the 27th of October on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. So there you go. In at number 2, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I mean, Nintendo just don't miss, man. If they're doing a Mario game, I bet it goes through like 6 months of like, no, that one leaf is out of place.
That one hair on Mario's mustache is not looking right.
Exactly.
We need to fix it.
But this is a pretty iconic game already because they've got a new voice actor for Mario.
Oh, really?
I am partial to Charles Martinet. I can't imagine different Mario.
Is it quite different? I haven't
I've heard a couple of voice things from it. And
you can tell it's not the same person.
Yeah. There's a few things. And the guys were like, everything that he says is exactly what has been said before, so why don't they just use the same thing? And you're just like, it's a bit random, I think. I don't know why they had to change the voice, but yeah, I mean, fair enough. They're looking for the future, I guess, not just for this game right now. And yeah, why not? I'm sure people that are new to the franchise won't notice.
You don't play a Mario game for the voiceover anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it still scored a 92 on Metacritic, which is the highest for October. 92. I mean, that's pretty hard to get a 92. Which means it puts it right up there with some of the best games in the world, which is amazing. But it's a Super Mario Brothers game. Like, it's iconic. It's never going to... If they ever mess up Super Mario Brothers game, Nintendo's done. Like, that's it. They can just collapse. They're done as a company. So, yeah, you know what to expect. And in at number 1, Marvel Spider-Man 2. I think it just ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. It's a game that isn't just for a select group of gamers. It's for everyone. You could be a hardcore gamer. You could be a really casual gamer. You could be a 5-year-old, and you can play Spider-Man 2. Which I think is kind of the great thing about like what Insomniac have done. With that. Annoyingly, it's only on PS5.
Get a PS5.
Which I need a PS5. But you know what? If you have got a PS5 and you're playing the game, I heard that the reload times are just nothing.
Instant.
It's just nothing. There is no loading screen in Spider-Man 5 and Spider-Man 2, which is amazing, and I love that. And, you know, when you go back 10 years and you're like happily waiting,
you wait for the web to
30
load.
seconds, yeah, just for like any game, just like 30 seconds. You've gone through a door. There we go. Like, do you remember playing Oblivion?
The Resident Evil game, the old one.
Yeah.
You can actually see the door opening.
The door opening, a black screen, then level.
Jeez. So they just run some credits in between, like a cut scene as the door opens. Yeah, it's amazing that I think they've utilized one of the first games, I believe, that has properly utilized the power of the PS5 to the best of its ability, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken a while to get there. It's been out a while, like 5 years or something. But yeah, it's great to see that. And the game itself is fantastic. It scored a 90 on Metacritic. So yeah.
And actually, interesting trivia about this. This is Insomniac's first game to get a 90 on Metacritic since 2004.
Wow. What game was that?
I think.
Oh,
You got me there.
Wait, Insomniac or Sony, did you say?
Insomniac.
Insomniac.
I think it was Ratchet and
Game 2004. Let's see. Daredevil 2? Oh no, it said cancelled. Never mind. It didn't give me the thing. Ratchet and Clank?
Ratchet and
Probably
Clank.
Yeah,
Ratchet and
of course
Clank.
it was
Yeah,
Ratchet
yeah.
and Clank. That makes sense. Yeah.
But even Spider-Man 1 did not get a 90. It got
No.
87 or something.
Okay.
88, so
I mean, 90.
Almost there.
Again, what a score. Like, up there in top probably 500
Yeah.
games ever made. That's pretty good going considering how many games are made nowadays. You know, it's getting a bit out of hand, I think. But yeah, there you go. I mean, take that into consideration when you're thinking about what games to buy. Obviously, loads more coming before the end of the year, so we're not done yet with games. But for October, like I said, Ghost Runner 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Alan Wake 2, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Oh, obviously, that one's just exclusive to Nintendo, by the way. I forgot to mention that. And then Marvel's Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. There are your top 5. What else would you have put in there? Let us know. Send us a DM. Daily Gamer Official. So James usually does a indie picks, right? And he's not here this week. So Viz Tony, you've got an indie game that you want to tell us about?
I do.
All I know so far is it's about rice.
Yes.
Okay.
There's rice involved in
Because
this.
we love rice.
Go on then. Is it a bit more than just rice?
Yep, so it's a game called Sakuna Rice and Ruin. It's
Sakuna Rice
and Ruin.
Rice and
And
Ruin.
Ruin.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
It's not just rice.
yeah. And Ruin.
So it's tied to Japanese mythology, which is quite nice. You know, you have a bit of glimpse of background of Japanese mythology. But the main protagonist is Sakuna, which is the harvest goddess.
Okay.
So what happens is the main story is about her being exiled from heaven
Okay.
to an island filled with demons, and her job is to relinquish the demons from the island.
Okay,
And
cool.
the way for you to do that is you have 4 villagers with you, and they have to plant rice with you for you to be stronger. So that's how you actually level up. You plant more rice. Guys, it's an amazing game. No, seriously, I got addicted to it. So I flew to Bangkok 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was the game that I played for like 8 hours on the flight.
I thought you were going to say I played 8 hours a day whilst I was on holiday.
That would have been a problem.
No,
Yeah.
the thing was, it was funny because I saw it in PS5. It was a free game.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it in Nintendo Switch? So I took my Switch and
Yeah,
checked and
yeah.
looked for the game and actually bought it.
Mate, if there's an indie game, it's most likely on the Switch.
Yeah.
There are
definitely.
so many $1 games on there that are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that actually sounds quite fun. Does it have a score, do you know?
Sorry?
Does it have like a score, 9 out of 10?
For me, it's 10 over 10.
Really?
The reason
Okay.
being is because I used to love Harvest Moon back in the
okay.
day.
Yeah.
And it's a nice combination of like, RPG / like farming. And the main thing is that, you level up with rice, but also it feels like...
I just can't take it seriously.
It feels like Monster Rancher. There was a game in PS1 called Monster Rancher.
Yeah.
Wherein you had to do missions, but while you're doing missions, you get hungry. So you have to go back home and then cook food. And basically, while you're in the dungeons, you have to... the monsters you defeat, for example, there's like boars, rabbits. And you take those meat, bring them home and cook them. And then the next day, cook rice again.
That sounds like work, mate.
So, like how nowadays I feel, like the action RPG shooter adventure game is kind of like what a lot of people are kind of doing, and that's kind of popular. You got Elden Ring and Starfield and whatever. But the new genre that's going to be popular is the RPG farmer-esque.
No, but it was a good game because sometimes
RPG farmer, like...
No, but it's nice.
I hope that catches on. I hope it catches on.
You'll never know. Wait for 3 months.
What's it called again, sorry?
Sakuna Rise and Ruin. Check it out.
Sakuna Rise and Ruin. It's on Nintendo Switch. It's
And
also on
PS5.
PS5. And it's free?
Free on PS5, you have to buy it on Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay. So I'll buy a PS5.
Then to
I'll
play
buy a
Sakuna.
PS5 just so I can play that game for free. Yeah? Makes sense. Viz, well, thank you so much for
No
your
worries.
James's Indie Picks, hosted by Viz Tony. Yay! Well, there you go. That is it for the Daily Gamer podcast number 27. As you can tell, James hasn't been here for the whole podcast, but we've had Viz, I've had Sadik. Thank you guys. You've been amazing. I mean, Sadik, you're just like a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you.
I don't know what you do for a job, but I'm sure that you get very bored and you just read gaming news all day, it seems.
Pretty much. I'm on Reddit 24/7.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And Viz with your RPG farmer game. I mean, I think that's got to be the new genre. It really does. The new RPG farmer game is the top-selling genre. You'll have some like celebrity appearances, probably from Idris Elba and
Planting rice.
yeah, exactly. Jeez. Anyway, well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you.
podcast.
Happy to be here, man.
I'm definitely gonna get you guys back soon. What I want to do is play a game next time that we've done in the past. We've done gaming sound effects. So I play a sound effect. You got to try and guess the game. Mm-hmm. I've done it with James and Larry before, and at the moment we've played it twice, and they won each. Okay. All right, so it's pretty dead. But I want to do it again with you guys as well and see how you do. Yeah,
Let's go for it.
All good. Well, thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next week for podcast number 28.